Library. Okay, Shalom. Just to make sure this is working. Okay, I think this should be working. All right, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash, the waters of venerable apostles, and those of great millstone who well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, Isabella Aharon coming back at you with a quick live lesson, low and be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and as you can see, the title, all right, no more nice guy. What is Trump talking about? All right, and today, actually, I think it was yesterday or the day before. All right, as some word came out that Trump was going to give an announcement, I believe tomorrow, in regards to so-called violence and crime that's going on out there in D.C. is what he said, right? So it's like it's been going around, but it's like it's not really catching no heat. So through Spirit today, it just kind of hit me out of nowhere, like, yo, Trump was talking some shit about, getting involved into, sending the feds out into these cities. It's something we've been talking about for quite some time. So hearing him talking about it like that, I'm like, yo, this is very like interesting. It's like it's very very dangerous verbiage that he's using because it's almost like you trying to say you got to bring in martial law, but you're not saying it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because then it's like, oh, okay, the conspiracy theorists are right again. So they're trying to do it without calling it that, but it's gonna be the same exact thing. And we're gonna pick out something here. All right, to the Spirit, because it's just impromptu. I was gonna do a whole lesson. I was just like, yo, let me just go live with it because save me some time. Right. So let's go through this real quick. All right, but before we do so, let's get this. All right, this is the Book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. And you notice we keep on bringing out the same precepts because those precepts are actually ringing true right now. All right, well, actually, it's becoming more and more clearer because we're in those times, right? So now we can see it. We can actually physically see these things happening. All right. So it says, Revelation 12 and 12 says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay. So that devil, all right, is talking about who? These elites. Okay. It's not no some red dude with horns with a pitchfork in hell somewhere. Like the image that everyone has as the devil. That's spiritual demon Satan, but he doesn't even look like that. All right. You know what I'm saying? But it's actually talking about an actual person on the earth. And devil just means deceiver. Okay. So let's go to this real quick. All right. It says Trump directs Pentagon to prepare options to use force against. Okay. All right. I guess that ABC News gets that shit together. Against drug cartels officials. All right. Cool. They probably got AI writing this type of stuff. It says President Donald Trump has directed the Pentagon. All right. That's where you have the military branch. Okay. Remember, you have the three spirits, all right, as unclean frogs. Okay, you have DC, which represents the military power. Okay, the military Esau's military power over the earth. Okay, through NATO. Okay, and NATO's headquarters is DC, the Pentagon. Okay, so it says President Donald Trump has directed the Pentagon to prepare options for the possible use of U.S. military force against drug cartels designated as terrorist organizations. Two U.S. officials confirmed to ABC News on Friday. So this thing is getting serious. Okay, once they start using these kind of words, you know what they go. You know what kind of things come after that. Okay, they start grouping other people. They start painting with a broad brush. See, it's very interesting the timing of all this. And then I think a couple of weeks ago, you had this whole incident with that damn demon that tried to run over some brothers out in IUIC. Okay, and the news portrayed it like, oh, the black people is like da, da, da. They try to spin that whole thing again. So it's like, okay, what's going on? We know what's going on. And then shortly after that, Jonathan Greenblatt brings his bald head ass up, come back and talk about, oh, anti-Semitism is going up 27%. This is dangerous, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, yo. And Trump is also vowing that, well, hey, we're going to serve the interests of the Jays. So if anyone is speaking against them, we either going to take aid away from you or we're going to just come after you. Okay, there's no tolerance, zero tolerance for anyone who's perceived to be anti-Sem. All right, and this is your president. Your president is telling you Americans not to be or not to speak what you are actually witnessing, not to vocalize what you're witnessing with these Jays out loud. If you're saying it out loud and you coming off in a demonic tone, like you coming against them, like you going against the narrative, yo, you gonna be deemed anti-Sem, and then boom, we're coming after you. So this word here is gonna be actually this phrase, right? Keep this phrase together, right? Terry, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna play a big role down the line. Okay? It says one official said that any possible use of U.S. military asset is not imminent. This is how they start. Okay? Why are you even talking about this? You know? It remains unclear exactly what the authorization will allow and what military operations would be considered as potential options that the U.S. military has been authorized to prepare. So get ready, man. All right, get ready. They've already started with the whole FEMA camp buildup with Alligator Alcatraz. They said they spent a good amount of money with FEMA in them, and they said they getting it ready by this fall. Who knows, right? Who knows? We've been hearing a little bit of news and word, right? That there's some type of things going on in the air, sicknesses popping up out of nowhere, cases rising, different countries. There's lockdown procedures going on in China right now as we speak, right? So that's also something to look forward to because it's also prophecy, right? The pestilences. It's many different things all at the same time. All right. So prepare. It says there are sure to be questions about the legality of such operations. What does this mean? What does this mean? This means that they're going to incorporate some form of AI into whatever they're about to do. Okay, well, we're going to have to storm the streets because, there's so much crime, blah, blah, blah. We have AI, we have Palantir that's going to be joining in, all right, to help solve these issues that we're having here. Okay? Bring the crime down. See? So they have the solution. Right now, what we're about to witness is going to be the problem mixed with the reaction. All right? There's no longer problem, reactions. No. Just they already have a solution. All right? Palantir is already on the books, ready to go. So now they got to have a reason for them to be able to utilize Palantir. So get ready for that problem. It says the New York Times was first to report that Trump has signed a directive ordering the Pentagon to prepare military options against the cartels. Yo. Man, this sounds very much like Rex 84. All right? We keep saying it, But this is exactly what they said. That's the plan. That's the plan. That's the plan. And ultimately, it ends up on the American people. This is how it starts. Okay? It says the Pentagon referred all questions to the White House, asked for comment. White House spokesperson Anna Kelly told ABC News that President Trump's top priority is protecting the homeland, which is why he took the bold step to designate several cartels and gangs as foreign T organizations. So FTOs, okay, FTOs. That's crazy. And then remember what he told. Remember what he told. When he was talking on the hot mic with the El Salvadorian president. He said, "Yo, the homegrowns are next." You see, that was done on purpose because they want the conspiracy theories to get a hold of it and then run it, for people to hear about it. But because they have to tell you before they do it. Revelation of the method. Okay. It said the Pentagon referred all questions. Oh, read that already. All right, cool. It says President Trump was pressed by a reporter on Friday if he would send U.S. forces to Latin America to take on the cartels. Remember that. Remember that. Okay. He says, well, this is Trump now. This guy here, Nero. He says, well, Latin America got a lot of cartels and they've got a lot of drugs flowing. You see, they speak like this with no proof, though. They don't come out and show you the actual proof. They just say these things. And then they just run with it. It's funny. I was talking to my mom earlier this afternoon, and she's starting to realize, the older people, they're kind of like, they listen to what we say, but they're not really doing anything about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, they're just kind of like, yeah, we see the world changing, but we're just trying to just do our own little thing here on the side kind of thing, right? That's the stage she's in right now. So she said, what's crazy? Everything that you guys have been saying is really coming to pass. It's happening faster than I thought. I said, oh, call Lord Yahweh Shai. Lord, hey, Lord. Like, I was excited. I said, because I told her this. We told her, we'd be in the kitchen, we pull out the scriptures. And we're like, yo, Ma, in a few more months, watch this. They're going to say this. They're going to do this. Da, da, da. And then boom, exactly what we said just be happening. And we'll be like, yo, remember we were telling her that she was, and she would be the one to attest to it. She say, yo, man, you guys have been saying these things are gonna happen, I said, Lord, hey, you're showing you're meant to be true prophets, right? And the world is witnessing the words of the Lord coming to pass because they heard it. They heard the prophet speaking. Man, look, most of our close relatives don't even know who we are as prophets of the Lord. They don't even believe in us. They don't even look at like they just, especially your mother. She love you and all that, but she doesn't really look at you like that until she starts to notice the things that the Lord is doing. So she said, hey, I went to CVS and for so long they've always had the self-checkout. Now it's like, when you get there, it's like the people there ignore you and you're forced to go use the self-checkout. She's like, I typically don't even bother with that. I just go straight to the register and they process everything and boom, I'm gone. But now I'm forced to have to use this self-checkout shit. And, for us, it's easy to do. But for her, she doesn't use it. So she's like, what do I got to do? Press this, do this, So she said, and then she goes, the problem here is nobody asked for these things. I said, yo, Ma, you're right. She said, nobody asked for these things, but, in a society, you have, chiefs and presidents and kings and so on and so forth. And those are the ones that make the ultimate decisions for the people, ultimately, right? But it's all by the people's consent. Her point she was making was these things that we're seeing, this new technological advancements that's happening, and it's happening so fast, nobody's consented to these things. It's just like, it just happens and you just got to deal with it. It just happens and you just got to deal with it. And nobody's really like, yo, we never asked for this, or we're not using this, or who's behind this? Who's the face behind this? Who's implementing these things? Why isn't the president speaking up against these things? Like, what's going on? She said, there's so many changes with this technology thing, this AI, this, and it's so scary. It's happening so fast. What is going on? And I told her, I said, Ma, This is exactly what we've been saying. This is the beast system that you're seeing right now. All these things are leading to MOTB. She said, yeah, yeah, I can see it. This whole digital stuff, yeah, yeah, I can see. I said, see? Hey, Brakta about Shimmy House Shot. She can see it. That means we're that close. We're that close, man. So this guy here, he's setting the stage right now because people are going to push back hardcore. That tells you that in the book of Job, the 20th chapter. All right. So it um, says, so we want to protect our country. That's the verbiage. All right. It's always, oh, we're the victims. We gotta defend ourselves. We gotta protect from who? Hmm? How you gonna be on the offensive, but yet you call it defensive? That's crazy. All right. It says we have to protect our country. We haven't been doing it for 4 years, bruh. Bruh. America's always at war, bro. You guys are always at war. What do you mean you haven't been? Like, yo, hey, that's why the judgment of this place is going to be a beautiful thing, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is going to be glorified the day this bitch go down, man. And it's coming fast. All right, and you devils, him, he knows it. He knows it because he said it. He said on Joe Rogan's podcast, he said it. He said it, so he knows. He knows, and he watches the prophets. We know you watch, bro. We know you watch, and you're going to be confronted soon. It says, and we love this. We love this country like they love their countries. See, it says we have to protect our country. Trump said. So we're playing a tough game, but we'll have more to say about that soon. He added. Okay. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum on Friday dismissed the idea of the U.S. military targeting drug cartels in Mexican territory. You see where this is going? This has been planned for years. All right? You see. It says the United States is not going to come to Mexico with the military. We cooperate, we coordinate, but we won't be an invasion. All right, there won't be an invasion. So like it says that is ruled out. All right. Sheinbaum said when responding to a question on reports about Trump directing the military to prepare military options against the cartel. So right then and there, there's got to be some type of inside job that's going to make this Sheinbaum, because they're all part of the game. All right, they're all part of the game. This name right here is just mad fishy, mad funny for no reason. All right, President of Mexico with this name. All right, cool. See, this world, man. But they're all part of the game. Okay, so she gonna be the one to call him and say, "Hey, listen, man. Oh, you were right. The cartels are here. They're going crazy. They're going nuts. Our people are getting butchered in the streets, and it's gonna be mayhem." Okay, and that's done by design. Remember what Albert Pike said? He said they're gonna unleash the nihilists and the absolute atheists, and there's gonna be the a bloodshed like never. It's crazy shit. Okay. So the reaction they need, it needs to be big enough. So that means the problem got to be big enough. All right, Scheinbaum said when responding to a question, blah blah. Okay, cool. It says in February, the Trump administration designated Tren de Aragua, the Sinaloa cartel, MS-13, and other drug cartels as global T organizations, following an executive order signed by Trump in January. All right, so like 1 second. Okay, it says appearing on EWTN on Thursday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that designation allows the administration to use various means. You see this? You see this very vague stuff, man. All right, it's all done by design. Okay, to use various means. All right, against the cartels, which he described as being armed like T's or armies that control territory. See the kind of verbiage? This is all dehumanization. Okay, they set the stage. This is just a boogeyman being created right now. All right, they're painting the picture for you first. This is the image we want you to have. And then we're going to put the people into that category so that you can always relate that image that we've painted in your head to those people. So that we can add anyone we want into that category. You're always going to think of them as T's and crazy ass dudes that's trying to take the country down and shit. Meanwhile, this whole time you've been hearing us preach and we told you how this place is going to be taken out. But yet you're going to believe, oh, they're trying to set up the go to many people. Man. Anyway, it says, I don't know if it's changed their behavior yet, but their behavior is going to have to change one way or another. Oh, look at this. Rubio said in an interview when asked if the T designation had changed the cartel's behavior, but it allows us to now target what they're operating and to use other elements of American power. Oh, intelligence agencies. Whoa, the Department of Defense. Like DARPA in them, right? DARPA robot dogs. Because it says what? To allow us to target what they're operating, right? So if this ain't their drug cartels, how we gonna get in there? We gotta use that new age technology, that AI. You see what Hasora, see Gaza, see what's going on over there? Think of that. Because Palantir is behind all that stuff. Lockheed Martin, they're all behind all that stuff. Raytheon, they're all behind all that stuff. Okay? And they're signing billions of dollars of defense contracts. For what? It says whatever, right? So the whatever part is like he's just leaving it open. Like, hey, whatever it takes type shit, you know? To target these groups if we have an opportunity to do it. What's the opportunity? Martial law. Okay? He said we have to start treating them as armed T organizations. We have to start treating them as. They are not that, but we're going to treat them as or as if they are that. Not simply drug dealing organizations. You hear that? Rubio continues. So he's just lying. Like, we're going to frame them. Yes, we're going to treat them like they're actually terrorists and drug, armed terrorists, but they're not, but we're going to treat them like that, though. Right? So drug dealing is the kind of terrorism they're doing. Wow. Wow. So it's a war on drugs and terror. So it's drug terrorism. Yeah. Anyway, it says the State Department's Foreign Terrorist Organization designation does not authorize military force, according to some experts. On the law, FTO, which is Foreign Terrorist Designation, it by itself does not constitute an authorization to use force, despite some confusion to the contrary, including within the U.S. government. See, that's all they need. Oh, it's a confusion. All right, well, Trump is going to just clean it up for you. Brian Finucane, who was attorney advisor at the state. Let's see. It says you would need some other authority, he said, under executive power, right, or via congressional authorization. Bro, this is easy, bro. Martial law, man. The details of Trump's order were not immediately clear, but it's all fairly legally fraught. Finucane said, under the laws that govern the military justice system, system, domestic statutes, and international law. Hegseth in January fired the top military lawyers for each of the Army, Navy, and Air Force. I think you're going to have military lawyers that are going to be nervous, said retired Lieutenant Colonel Rachel Vallandigham, a former judge advocate in the U.S. Air Force. It says they also don't have the top cover. They don't have the top cover because anyone that wouldn't be a yes man or yes woman has been terminated, she said. So there's basically no pushback. There's no balance there. All right. So the people who would, be like, yo, this is not ethical. We shouldn't really do this. They out of there, man. All right. They didn't fully pledge their allegiance to these motherfuckers. All right. Because this is very interesting how this comes out August 8th. Okay. And then right on August 1st, this comes out. So 7 days later, okay, once these guys, Palantir lands $10 billion Army software and data contract. Okay, so what is this all about? Hmm? So they signed this, and then shortly after that, this guy's about to declare basically war on drug terrorists. Like, interesting, right? Hmm. It says Palantir has linked a contract with the U.S. Army worth up to $10 billion over the next decade. Why the next decade? Isn't it interesting how Trump also signed a bill that says that no state can veto uh, uh, anything AI related for the next decade? Very interesting, right? Hmm. Man, it says the agreement provides purchasing flexibility and removes contract related fees and procurement timelines, the Army said. Palantir has been a key beneficiary of President Donald Trump's clampdown on cost efficiencies using artificial intelligence. That's the key. This right here is the key. So this right here, artificial intelligence is going to play a huge role. They're rolling everything out, man. This B system, you're seeing it. All right. This Palantir has inked a contract with the U.S. Army worth up to $10 billion to meet growing warfare demands over the next decade. So if they declare war, right, they're gonna use force. These people are here saying this is why we're here. As part of the deal, Palantir will help the military streamline efficiencies while preparing for threats, consolidating 75 total contracts into one enterprise deal, the release states. So they're consolidating. They're bringing everything into one. All right. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. Okay. It says the agreement creates a comprehensive framework for the Army or the Army's future software and data needs. Ooh, AI. Okay. That provides the government with purchasing flexibility and removes contract related fees and procurement timelines according to a release. The deal further cements the company's role in the U.S. government's clampdown on cost efficiencies by using artificial intelligence tools in President Donald Trump's administration. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Hey, man, we've been saying it. We've been saying it from the elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down that this man is going to bring in that MOTB system. We're seeing everything on unravel, man. Okay, this whole artificial intelligence thing is literally the you shall there shall that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, man. This is it. When you set up an AI system where you literally you can't really bargain, you can't really plead your case. It's either you have it or you don't. You can go to a store and if you don't have the CHIP and the machines are only taking CHIP scanners, it's AI. It's not like you can say, "Oh, I have my card, chief. I don't have the chip yet. You mind if I just use the scanner and just scan the card and be out?" You don't have that anymore. So you be standing there looking like a fool, like looking around, like, "Are you serious right now?" You see people just going in and out, just scanning their hands because it's gonna happen. You're gonna see certain, like, you go to certain towns and you see one or two people doing it. It's gonna start becoming a thing. We're actually gonna witness this very soon, where you're gonna actually see people regularly as you go to maybe you got a gas station and somebody scan with their hand, like it's some normal shit. You be like, oh shit, what the fuck, you know? Or you be at a grocery store, you don't be surprised you see somebody scan with their hand, the back of their hand, big. And you be like, oh, they got the chip. Yo, you got the chip? Like, it's going to be like, oh, shit. you know? And it's going to be a thing, you know? Because we are in those times. It says, Trump's Department of Government Efficiency has cut jobs and programs in an effort to curb spending. Mm-hmm. Palantir co-founder and CEO Alex Karp has been, and that's a demon. That's a high-level demon right here. All right, so watch out for him. He's going to be a problem, okay? There has been a vocal proponent of protecting U.S. interests and joining forces on AI to fend off adversaries. All right, so this is Alex Carp, this guy right here. This guy right here, man. He looks like an evil genius, man. You know? He just looks evil. man. Hey, man, spiritual power is coming. Because all this foolishness that these devils are up to, man, the Lord's going to give us signs to back it down, man. All right? Isaiah 59:19. All right? It says, Palantir co-founder and we read that. It says Shares of the Denver, blah, 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 blah. Earlier this year, Palantir delivered its first two AI-powered systems in its $178 million contract with the U.S. Army. In May, the Department of Defense boosted its Maven Smart Systems, jeez man, so MSS, Maven Smart Systems contract to beef up AI capabilities by $795 million. Okay, so you best believe they're going to be using a lot of this new age technology, which is being uh, provided by Palantir, to go ahead and fulfill whatever it is that this guy is going to be pushing out, whatever announcement he's about to make. Okay, so we'll be very interested to find out. All right, and another thing that we're very interested to find out here is um, Rex 84. This browser is so stupid. All right, so this right here is what I want to read. Okay, it says background: the existence of master military contingency plans of Rex 84 was a part Operation Garden Plot, which is the Department of Defense Civil Disturbance Plan, also known as the cryptonym Garden Plot, was a general U.S. Army and National Guard plan, okay, to respond to major domestic civil disturbances within the United States. Right? Okay. So it says, and a similar earlier exercise, Lantern Spike, were originally revealed by journalist Ron Rittenhauer, who summarized his findings in a 1975 article in Counterspy magazine. Starting in 1981, the DoD and FEMA began a tradition of biannual joint exercises to test civil mobilization using the names Proud Saber and Rex 82. In 1984, the scenario involved a U.S. Army rehearsal of airlifting the entire 82nd Airborne Division, consisting of 15,000 troops, from Fort Bragg in North Carolina, under the cover, and this sounds very much like Jade Helm 15, right? The whole thing right here. It says, under the cover of night, Project Cypher, right? It says, and flying them to either El Salvador or Nicaragua as a simulated invasion to enforce a state of martial law. Okay? So isn't that what Trump was saying? Right? Right here. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum on Friday dismissed the idea of the U.S. military targeting drug cartels in Mexican territory. The United States is not going to come to Mexico with the military. See? So they're putting it out there. All right? There you go. They're putting it out there. Exactly what this is saying. It says under the cover of night and flying them to either El Salvador or Nicaragua as a simulated invasion to enforce a state of martial law. Wow. This part of the exercise had been codenamed Rex 84 Night Train, and the overall readiness exercise involving 34 federal agencies was codenamed Rex 84, with FEMA's role in assisting the DoD, Department of Defense, right, at Rex 84 Alpha. Later, when the mass detention scenario involving FEMA camps, was added at the request of FEMA Director Louis Giuffrida, the Reagan advisor Edwin Meese, and personally authorized by President Ronald Reagan, the mass detention scenario was codenamed Rex 84 Bravo. That's where the people come in. That's where the American people come in. All right. It says it was modeled on a 1970s Giuffrida Meese Reagan exercise in California known as Operation Cable Splicer. Okay, the plan was first discovered by the Christic Institute in 1984 and first revealed in detail in a major daily newspaper by reporter Alfonso Chardy. All right, cool. This is what I want. It says possible reasons for such a roundup were reported to be widespread opposition to a U.S. military invasion abroad. Boom. See that? So he set the stage to come against the American people. He said, remember, the problem has to come first. Okay? And he set the stage for the reaction. That stage is the Palantir contracts. All right. So once that reaction kicks in, that solution is, well, Palantir is going to take in and take over and work with FEMA, and now you're going to see some shit. Okay. Now we're coming for you. We're coming for your guns. You notice a lot of these so-called mass shootings out of nowhere like that. That's they send the stage. Oh, the violence, the violence, the violence. Oh, we need to stop the crime and the hate. We're gonna start coming in and do what we gotta do. All right. Yeah, they about to start rolling, man. This is what they've been waiting for. This is what we've been waiting for. All right. It says it says such as if the United States were to directly invade Central America. See, to combat what the government perceived as subversive activities. The plan also authorized the military to direct the movement of civilian populations at state and regional levels. That's the roundup, according to Professor Diana Reynolds. That's the roundup. That's what happened during martial law. Remember, martial law, to enforce a state of martial law. Okay? So he's setting the stage. He's setting the stage, man. This is already here. Okay? And now he's talking this shit. All right? So, hey, we're going to hear what he has to say tomorrow. All right? I'm definitely going to tune in to see what that devil has to say. All right? But let's get this real quick, all right? Because this is the times that we're coming into. Okay? There's the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 16, and verse 68. It says, For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. Okay, so that time of the roundup is coming. All right, you see Trump pushing this idea of homeless people being sent into camps, so-called, right? Like, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Asylum, mental asylum camps and shit. I'm like, what? What does that have to do with anything? You know, wasting all this money to put people in a damn asylum. Why are you building all this? Like, why don't you just build homes for the homeless? If you can put buildings and structures together to just house people or put them in a mental asylum, whatever, why don't you just build homes? What's up with these devils, man? Everything is upside down with these devils. Everything is inverted with these devils. All right, but yet they always speak about, oh, we're doing this for the safety and the peace and this and that. But the world needs peace and safety from you, man. All right, but ultimately, all this stuff that they're doing is getting ready to start rounding people up. Okay, some of us might get caught up in this. Okay, but ultimately to glorify Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right. It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, right? So that's who? Us, the Israelites. Okay? And you have Trump already pushing this whole Marco Rubio and all of them. They're all pushing this, we're coming against T's type of energy. All right? And we know where that comes from. We know what leads, what comes out of that. All right? What it leads to, I should say. Okay? Is that they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Right? Okay? Martial law. Alright? This is for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Right? So that's the FEMA executive orders. Okay? They're gonna come in, plunder everything. Everything, man. It's about to get crazy. And then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Okay? O ye, my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So we're seeing these things happening, so we should be definitely aware that we are in the time of the days of trouble. Okay? Jacob's trouble. We're seeing it. Look what's going on with the northern kingdom. Alright? All this stuff that's going on right now, by the time it gets to Jake, it would have been so obvious. You'd be like, yo, this shit is crazy. Like, that's coming for everyone? Yeah. Who told you that? because they beefing up. They saying, "Oh, FBI is being sent out to DC and shit." I'm like, damn, they're gonna stop people who are even doing graffiti. I said, "Oh, here we go." Because graffiti ain't done by no drug cartel people. Niggas, it's Jake that be doing that dumb shit. All right, you go to Jake neighborhoods, you're gonna see all that graffiti over there. There's literally places that's just filled with mad Jake. You know. So it says, um, there you go. It says, verse 75. It says, "Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your God." Right, and that's the faith that we have in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, that no matter what happens, he says that what because we have kept the faith, all right, about patience, that he's going to keep us from the hour of temptation. All right, so when the time comes, all the things, the trials and tribulations that we got on this side, it was all to prepare us for that last hour, the last fight, that last go around. Okay, and you notice how time is flying. Time is flying. All right, if time is flying now, imagine when the MOTB come out. All right, time is like flying right now, man. It's crazy. All right, so we don't have much time here. All right, just like the Apostle Paul said, all right, in the book of Romans 13 and 11 says, and that knowing, it says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe, right? So we're seeing the signs. All these signs are leading to the salvation of the elect, okay? That means that the destruction is at hand, all right? The destruction is at hand. Okay, so let's finish off with this. It says, and it says, 2 Ezra 16, verse 76, it says, "And the God of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord." And who are the ones doing that? Those who know the name Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and follow the true doctrine which is taught by the elders and apostles of great so on down. Okay, that is the true company of prophets, and that means that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's true words are going to dwell among the company of those prophets. Okay, so those are the ones who are keeping the commandments. When you say to keep means to carry out in practice. All right, so we do it to the best of our ability. All right, so we do keep the commandments because we carry out the commandments in practice. That is the ones that we can actually keep. Okay, it says, "And precepts, saith the Lord, power. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves." Right. All right. So yeah, we got a lot to look forward to, but I'm very interested to see what comes out of this. All right, because this is very interesting, especially around this time of the year. Very, very interesting. There's a lot of things going on right now. A lot of things going on. There's like a lot of heavy, heavy things going on, but it's like it's all being downplayed. All right, that's all the setup. Okay, it's all part of the setup. Remember, it says it's gonna happen. Let's get that. Let's end it off with that. Let's end it off with that. All right. Look at First Thessalonians chapter 5. All right. First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1 says, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord shall cometh as a thief in the night." Right? So it's gonna come suddenly. Right? We seeing it, so it's not gonna happen like that to us. But the rest of the world, they're not paying attention. Most of them don't even think of the Lord. Like they don't even think of any type of supernatural power that's gonna come and destroy their whole entire living existence. They don't even think of it like they, man. Just for when they shall say peace and safety, and that's all you've been hearing lately. Everything that they've been doing now is all about safety, peace, safety. The peace part is we do everything to we want to keep the peace, so that means that no hate. Hey, we don't hate over here, all inclusive. We don't do all that hate shit. It's a peaceful. The safety is that we do everything in our power to make you safe. Come take a jump shot. It's safe. You know, let's invade your privacy and put some mRNA underneath your skin. It's safe for your safety. Let's give you a wearable, and then later on implantables, to track your health, keep you safe. Let's bring Palantir as biometrics and bring a chip. to keep us safe. Everything is all about that shit, right? So when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. All right, so those little signs that's leading to this big event is what we're seeing. Okay, you see your event, you do. I mean, you do see the pregnancy, right? You see when her belly's all big after 9 months and shit. Now you know it's like any day now, you know. So you're seeing it. We see all the belly got mad big right now. See? Hmm. It says, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. That's it. All right, so we're gonna be attentive. We're gonna see all these things. It's not gonna happen. Oh man, damn, that's crazy. I got caught up. No, 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 no. We're not gonna miss Yahushua's return. Nah, 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 nah. We're gonna see it first. Shit, you know. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to bring that out. Just something to highlight, you know, and something to pay attention to because they're doing things. They're moving. They're doing things. They're doing things. They're doing a lot of things. You know, but it's happening so fast. A lot of people don't even get the time to even see what's going on, to even catch a breath, to even check it out, to make sense out of it, to even then gather the strength to communicate it, and then be like, hey, what are we gonna do about this shit? You can't. There's biblical prophecy. Okay, it's biblical prophecy. It's all these MOTB. All right, but trouble is definitely ahead, man. Troubles are ahead. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it up there low and you edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodesh, the Wadi Yahweh, Shalom.